How we doing, everybody? And happy Friday in the great state of Wisconsin or wherever you are listening. This is Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. Today, Austin is back. Austin, we're glad to have you back after, where have you been? Where have you been, Austin, huh? Where have you been playing hooky from the sports world?
Yeah, I need a little bit of a break. Our season's over, obviously, so I just need a little break from everything. And it's also last week of school. Finals are coming up. I just need a little time there, but we're back and ready to get this weekend preview started.
He's feeding us a line of bull hooky to start off the podcast. A line of bull hooky to start us out.
We have to keep
What
it
the
PG
heck?
here.
Okay, well, we're happy that he's back. Today we gotta keep it PG. We gotta keep it PG for the listeners. Today we have a lot to talk about. We have the Bucks losing last night to the Pacers. We're gonna dissect that game there. That was, good, bad, ugly. It was all three. It was all three wrapped up into one game. We got the Bucks. We got the Badgers coming up tomorrow. They're gonna be taking on Arizona, number one team in the country. Going down to Tucson, there are the Badgers. So we got to talk about that prep for that game there. Also, we're going to dive into the college football bowl games. We're going to look at some of the interesting names out there and just kind of try to understand them a little bit and see what we think. And then we're going to move into a little bit of the college basketball weekend, talk about that a little bit. The college volleyball postseason picture as it stands right now. Badgers got a win against Penn State last night. A heck of a they completely kicked the crap out of Penn State there. So we're going to be talking about that. Also, looking at the Packers, then jumping into the NFL weekend slate, getting into a little bit of fantasy football, and then we'll see where the day takes us. You never know what avenue we might take, where we might venture off. But with that, right away, we're jumping over to the Bucks. Last night, in-season tournament game there in Vegas, the Pacers took it to the Bucks. This is a pretty good Pacers team offensively right now. 128 to 119 was the final score there. Put up 37 points in that fourth quarter there against the Bucks to pull away. So a dynamic fourth quarter from the Pacers after the Bucks put up 43 in the third. So you look at the difference there. The Bucks were right hand in hand with the Pacers here. They put up a dynamic third quarter behind Damian Lillard, and then in that fourth just couldn't get anything going. The defense was struggling a little bit and lost this one. So let's jump over to Austin here. We'll get into the stats just a little bit of this ball game.
Yeah, for the main stats for the Indiana Pacers, you're going to want to look at Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner. Miles Turner for them. Halliburton had 27 and 15 assists and 7 rebounds. And then Miles Turner had 26 points and 10 rebounds for them. Obi Toppin added 14 points. Brown added 10, and then Buddy Hield added 8 for them. They had a strong showing off the bench. Jackson had 11 points there for them, but it was mainly the Tyrese Halliburton show, especially down towards the end of the game there for them. He was just making ridiculous shots for them. And Miles Turner also doing what he has to do to help there for the team. Then when we look at the Bucks, Giannis leading the way with 37 there. Lillard with 24. Chris Middleton adding a 20 bomb right there for them. Lopez, he had 18. He looked like he was struggling on defense a little bit there. Wasn't able to stop Miles Turner. And then also Beasley was 7. And then a quiet night off the bench, which we've talked about how this hurts the Bucks. Portis with 4, Beauchamp with 5, and Payne with 4 there. So not a whole lot coming off for the bench for them there. Yeah, I kind of watched just a little bit of the end of the game there, and it seemed like we would score, and then we would just give up a basket right away to the Pacers, and then they kind of just took the lead away from us, or not the lead, but they kind of just separated themselves for us. And Tyrese Halliburton was just going nuts, which is good to see. Well, not good to see, but he's a Wisconsin kid, so we know a little bit about him. And it's good to see that he's kind of doing good stuff for the NBA there. But overall, it was a tough night for the Bucks. Pacers out rebounded them 51 to 46 there, and also I saw Tyrese Halliburton had 0 turnovers, so he had 27 points, 15 assists, and 0 turnovers. That's kind of big for them. I also saw something, I think it was on Instagram, or I can't remember what it was. Could have been Twitter, but the Pacers have 4 draft lotteries from one draft. So they have Obi Toppin, Tyrese Halliburton, and 2 other guys I can't remember, but it was 4 guys that were in like the top 15 of one draft. So they have a lot of young talent on their team, and you can see it's paying off for them right now.
Yeah, and this team, you watch this game and it was almost like the Indiana Pacers were playing Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Bucks were playing Game 32 of the regular season. That's the way that it kind of looked in this one. The Pacers took it to the Bucks, and the Bucks had no answers. The Pacers really put a run on this Bucks team, and I mean, the Bucks had in the third quarter. The Bucks showed it. We're the better team here. We can hit shots. We got the bigger lineup. Everything in between. And then in that fourth quarter, the Pacers controlled all the tempo, controlled everything. The Bucks turnovers, I thought, they didn't have a whole lot. I mean, 12 turnovers on the game, it doesn't seem like a lot, but I thought they came at inopportune times. A lot of turnovers that shouldn't have happened. I know Middleton had 4. There was at least 2 where he was just driving to the basket, tried to flip it out because he got stopped, and then turned the ball over there on a ill-advised pass. So just ill-advised passing was a big problem for the Bucks in this one. And like you said, the bench. We talked about the bench. The bench had to be, somewhat of a factor in these games. And I'm not seeing it right now. I mean, you look at Bobby Portis. He hasn't been able to get it going from downtown at all this year, sitting at 0 for 1 for this game here. Cameron Payne 0 for 3. He hasn't turned out to be much off the bench for this Bucks team. And Brook Lopez, 18 finally, Brook Lopez gets into the score column here. But then you have Beasley, again, 7 points in this ball game, 1 for 4 from downtown. He did have a big 3 late in the ball game, but you got to have your shooting guard has got to be that guy. That you have to have that guy who can double up with Damian Lillard, especially, Middleton played a little bit more in this one, which did kind of point me towards Adrian Griffin did treat this game as it was, the elimination game. But Beasley's got to be bigger. You got to have big nights from your shooting guard, especially in games like this. 119 to 128. I mean, this is an Indiana Pacers team that's not a great defensive team. They are small. I mean, they have a small lineup compared to what the Bucks are throwing out there with Giannis. I mean, who I think they had. Oh, what was his name? Oh, Nesmith was guarding Giannis for the longest time, and I think Nesmith is at least a good foot shorter than what Giannis is, and he was giving him the business. 6'6" is Nesmith. I mean, he's a smaller guy, and he was giving Brook Lopez and Giannis the business down there in the post and at the perimeter. So, I mean, the Indiana Pacers, like I said, played this one like Game 7, and the Bucks played this like it was a regular season game that didn't really matter. And I think that's the big thing about this in-season tournament. We heard guys say that they really were excited for this. I didn't really, we talked about this and we weren't as high up on the in-season tournament, but you listen to the players and some of these players are really excited about this in-season tournament. I mean, you look at this Pacers team, they're celebrating after this win like they just won the Eastern Conference Finals. And I mean, that's huge. That is huge for the game of basketball. It is getting the players more involved. It just, I think, is going to take time for teams like the Bucks, the 76ers, the Suns, some of these bigger teams who are in the playoffs at the end of the season to really focus in on an in-season tournament as something big. What does an in-season tournament trophy do for my legacy, right? If LeBron James and the Lakers win an in-season tournament, the first ever, what does that do for his legacy? It's not the same as winning the trophy at the end of the year. So, you can't just say, oh, well, LeBron's better than Michael Jordan now because he won the in-season tournament. Well, it's a new thing. So it's like, what does that trophy do for me? And I think it's going to take a little bit for teams like the Bucks to really take this serious. They did, but they didn't at the same time, I thought there was moments where the Bucks were kind of lackadaisical in this one. Also, Damian Lillard's slow start in this one. I believe he didn't score in the first quarter. Didn't really get it going until in that third quarter there. He paced this Bucks team, but besides that, he was kind of slow starting in this one, and I think that was a big killer for the Bucks too, not having Dame at full-fledged in this ball game.
Yeah, and something I forgot to point out, I was just looking at the stats again. They had 72 points in the paint. We had 60. That's a 12-point difference right there. So it makes you wonder what exactly is Brook Lopez doing down there in the paint. And when you look at the score, 128 to 119, 9 point difference, 12 of them points coming in the paint. I mean, there's where it is right now. I mean, you look at the free throws. I mean, they made 21, we made 21. You look at 3 pointers. I mean, heck, we made 5 more 3 pointers than them, and we shot the same amount as them too. I think where it came down to is hustle points, honestly. Just wanting it more, maybe, and just like you said, becoming lackadaisical on the defensive end for the Bucks.
Yeah, a lot of lack on the help side defense there. A lot. I mean, there was stretches where TJ McConnell took over off the bench for the Pacers. There, he only had 9, but he had a big 9 for this team. It was the moments that the momentum changed because this Indiana Pacers team could flip it. They're just like that. A big 3 from Tyrese Halliburton or McConnell getting in the lane and being able to finish at the basket there with the Bucks struggling on offense. That was the big change. And like you said, Brook Lopez, Giannis, and Bobby Portis, 3 big defenders in the paint for the Bucks, and yet a smaller Indiana Pacers team outscores them in the paint, outdoes them in the paint. That's a problem. That's a problem that needs to be addressed now because otherwise, you play the Pacers, you play the Bulls next, you play the Pacers again. This Pacers team is going to be dangerous all season long. I don't care if they start losing games and they become a non-factor for the postseason at the end of the year. They're always going to be a dynamic offensive team, and that's going to be scary down the stretch in the season to have to face a team like this with a possible 1 seed, 2 seed on the line. You're not going to get it because of a loss. This one doesn't count, but you play them again here in a couple days. You got to be able to bounce back in that one. Show something in that ball game that you can take care of an Indiana Pacers team like this. This Pacers team though, they're good. I mean, they just took care of the Celtics. They beat the Bucks now. This Indiana Pacers team is something to watch right now. Sitting at 12-8 right now, not too far behind the Bucks. They're sitting at 15-7. This is an impressive Indiana Pacers team. They're a team to watch out for in the East. I did not expect it out of them, but their offense, dynamic. Tyrese Halliburton, like you were talking, I mean, he is something to watch. The Dame time thing that he did, you like it, but it's like, dude, relax. It's okay. Relax a little bit. You don't want to get on nerves. That's the big thing. Rookies get on nerves. It's like you don't want to piss off. You don't want to get at the bear. That's the big thing. You don't want to poke the bear. And this is a veteran-led Bucks team, and I think that's what bit him in this one was the rookies kind of came at him. But with this veteran squad that the Bucks have, they have experience. And once this team kind of rounds into what they should be, having Dame, Giannis, Brook, Middleton out there for a full game, Beasley, if he gets right or they add a piece, whatever in between there, they're going to be a team to watch out for there in the East. In the grand scheme of things, I just think they have a lot of things they have to work through right now, and it's kind of being thrown together last minute. You just hope it happens sooner rather than later because right now, this has got too much talent on this Bucks team to be sitting where they are, struggling like they are, especially on the defensive end, and to get that offense going at times. The offense kind of gets stagnant, and that is a worry for the Bucks. But like we were talking, Bucks take the loss there in the in-season tournament. Sucks to see, but hats off. The Indiana Pacers played a great. They're playing a great in-season tournament and playing a great season start so far. With that though, Bucks, they're not tipping off next until Monday there against the Bulls. So we're gonna catch that on Sunday. We'll talk about that matchup on Sunday. We got to get over into the Badgers. Badgers, big matchup. Massive matchup. The end of this 3-game gauntlet that they were going to have to run through. Taking on the number 1 team in the country, the Arizona Wildcats. This Arizona team, they're gonna have problems for the Badgers, and they're gonna have some stuff the Badgers gonna have to watch out for. So with that, I'm gonna jump over to Austin here just to get into the stats there about Arizona, and then we can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, like you said, Arizona, a really good team. Caleb Love, former UNC player, now he transferred to Arizona, but he's leading the charge here with 13.3 points for Arizona. But not too far behind him, Kashad Johnson and Kylan Boswell, both averaging 12.9 and 12.7. And then Omar Ballo has 12.1. And then their last guy off their last starter there, Pele Larson. I don't really know if that's how you say it or not, but he's rounded off with 11 points there for them. Their main rebounder, Omar Ballo, 5.9 rebounds per game. He is their center, but Caleb Love also getting there with 4.7, and Kashad Johnson, he's got 6.6 rebounds per game. Caleb Love, 4.4 assists per game for them there, and 1.6 steals per game. Kashad Johnson has 1.3 steals per game, and then Kylan Boswell has 1.6 steals per game. So they get active on the defense there for Arizona. Overall, they're just a really good team. They're sound. They're like an old Arizona team that we used to see back when the Badgers was always playing them in the Elite Eight. They're just playing really good basketball right now. You look at their 3-pointers. They have a total of 56 3-pointers made, and out of 148 attempts, Caleb Love has 12 of those 3-pointers, and Kylan Boswell has 19. He's 19 for 35 there for them. I think this is a tall task for the Badgers defense. They've been playing well so far. Against Michigan State, they played well against Marquette. I say they played really good against Marquette. Holding Marquette's offense to only, I can't remember what they held them to, but holding them to that amount, that's good. But this Arizona team's gonna put them to the test right here.
Yeah, and the thing with Arizona is that they're balanced. Like you were just talking there through the stats there about Arizona, is that they're a balanced offense just like Wisconsin. When you look at their stats across the board there, like you were talking, 13, 12, 12, 12, 11. They're a balanced offense. They're going to score it at different levels. They're going to be able to put it on the deck. Caleb Love coming over from North Carolina last year. Caleb Love at North Carolina, good player, iffy at times, and you can kind of get him rattled, and I think that's going to be a big thing for the Badgers in this one, is rattling Caleb Love and kind of taking him out of the equation here. The Badgers defense in the paint has been impressive. I thought they've done a great job defending the paint and on the perimeter so far. Help side defense has been big for the Badgers, and I think that's going to be huge in this one, especially with some dynamic guards there, Ian Larson and Love. Also KJ Lewis coming off the bench there for this Arizona Wildcats team. When I look at this matchup for the Badgers, the underlying factor I think is going to be the Badgers cannot, when we looked at the Marquette game, we said the Badgers got to win it at the 3-point line, and they didn't win it at the 3-point line. They kind of struggled at the 3-point line besides Max Klesman. And I really do think in this one, the Badgers do need to succeed at the 3-point line. Going into a hostile environment there in Tucson, playing this Arizona team, you're going to have to be able to hit big shots. And those big shots are going to have to come from the likes of Klesman, AJ Storr. I really do think for the Badgers to have major success in this ball game, Steven Crowell's got to be able to extend the defense out. Looking at that game against Michigan State, 4 3-pointers from Steven Crowell. He's 4 for 4 from downtown. Impressive stats out of the big man, but that adds an element to the offense. It spreads out that defense. This Arizona team is going to look to pack it if they can, pack the paint, keep the Badgers out of there, and force you to shoot. This Arizona team is they're a pretty good defensive team there, and that's where I think the Badgers really have to succeed there, is being able to step out of their comfort zones and be able to hit shots if you are Steven Crowell. Rebounding, going to be huge. This Arizona team, 47 rebounds per game right now compared to the Badgers' 34. And, Arizona's also not really – they've played good teams. They played Michigan State. They played Duke early on in the year. But besides that, they haven't really been tested a lot by a lot of – look at this Badger team's schedule compared to Arizona. They haven't been tested like the Badgers have so far. Badgers – look at just the last 5 games for the Badgers there. Virginia, SMU, Marquette, and Michigan State. You look at the last and Western Illinois tucked in there. You look at Arizona's last 5, Southern, I believe Bellevue, UTA, MSU, so Michigan State there, and then Colgate. They faced Colgate in their last matchup. So Arizona hasn't really been completely tested yet. This is still a good ball club. Don't get me wrong. This is a good basketball team in Arizona. I'm just saying that The Badgers have been battle tested. They have to use what they've learned. Marquette, very good athletic basketball team. When we went into played Marquette, I did not believe the Badgers would match up athletically with what Marquette was going to throw at them. They had more athletic guards. I thought they had more athletic big men. I thought they were going to eat the Badgers alive there, and the Badgers were going to have to play stellar to win that ball game. And the Badgers defense they held snuff in that one. Michigan State, I thought the Badgers were going to have to control the paint. They controlled the paint in that one. They controlled transition defense. I really do think in this one against Arizona too, you have to control the tempo of this game against Arizona. Don't allow Arizona to get fast break points. I think that's going to be a big thing for the Badgers. Transition defense, being able to control that aspect of this game, I think that's going to be a big thing for this Badger team. Some underlying factors for the Badgers, I really do believe Tyler Wall is going to be an underlying factor for this one. We know what we're going to get out of Stephen Crowell. We've had some big games out of Crowell, Storr, Klesman. Chucky's had a couple of big shots. I think we have to see something out of Tyler Wall in this one. Some aggression. The offensive glass going to be huge for the Badgers. Look at their last couple wins there against Michigan State and Marquette. Plus 10 offensive rebounds in each game there. They had 10-plus offensive rebounds. That's impressive stats. Against Arizona, you're going to have to be the aggressor again. You're going to have to be aggressive on the offensive glass, get second-chance points. I think that's going to be a big thing for this game. If I had to pick my two guys that I believe who have to have big games here, I'm going to take Tyler Wall, and I think if the Badgers really want to get something fired up, it's going to be a combo of Tyler Wall and Stephen Crowell. But a third underlying guy for me, I'm going to take Connor Essegian off the bench. I believe he could add some fire off the bench for this Badger team in this one. So what do you got? Who do you got for your 2/3, like I just did, for your guys in this one to watch out for?
Yeah, I think first off, Stephen Crowell, kind of like you were saying, he's got to be able to hit those 3-pointers like he was able to against Michigan State. I think that's going to be crucial for them. And then also in the paint, rebounding, getting those offensive boards, just out tough them, I guess you could say. And then I think Max Klesmit, I mean, you see what he did against Michigan State. He put up 21 points. They were in the first half. All of them were in the first half. But, I mean, the rest of the year, the other games, Klesmit hasn't been able to do anything for the Badgers team. And when he scores 21, we win big games. So I think it's going to be crucial for him to be able to provide that offense. I mean, I know A.J. Storr is going to get points. I know Chucky's most likely going to get some type of points there. I'm sure Tyler Wall, he's going to get his points, but it's Max Klesmit. I think he's going to be the one that needs to step up a little bit and score more points like he was able to against Michigan State. And I was looking over Arizona's schedule also. I mean, I see they played Duke when they were number 2, and then when Michigan State was number 21. I mean, the rest of these teams that they played, not very good. But the least amount of points that they scored in a game was 74, and that was against Michigan State. The rest of them, a lot in the hundreds, 97. I mean, if the Badgers are going to want to win this game, they're going to have to put up points. I know that much. I mean, who knows? I mean, the Badgers could play some really fantastic defense and hold them under 70 somehow, but I just don't think that's possible. Arizona's a really good offensive team, so they're going to have to score. They're going to have to score, and the Badgers are going to have to score in the 70s or even 80s possibly to win this game for them there.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. The Badgers will have to, and I think that's where the Badgers, I'm going to go against you. I'm going to go against you here just by saying if the Badgers control the tempo, they can control the score of this game, keeping it low scoring like that Michigan State game was where they only allowed 74 against this Arizona team. If they allow Arizona to do their thing, that's where the Badgers are going to get themselves into trouble. They did it against SMU. They let SMU run all over them to start that one. The Badgers didn't have an answer. They couldn't control the tempo. And if that was this Arizona team, they wouldn't have came back and won. And that's what the Badgers, against Marquette, they controlled the tempo. They controlled the transition. They won that game. They held Marquette to 64. That's what the Badgers need to do in this one is control the tempo, play their game, and don't allow Arizona to get comfortable in their own building. That's going to be the big thing on the road to pulling off that upset. I did see news with Connor Essegian is that he was they are working him back from injury. That's what the interesting topic is right now. They came out and they talked about it, and they said the way that the rotation's working right now, there's no use on rushing him back. Everything's working out fine right now. There's no use rushing him back. We just want to get him into the flow of things again. So right now, they're kind of slowly working him into it. It's a struggle because of the success of guys like Kamari McGee on the defensive end and John Blackwell coming off the bench there. That's kind of the big things there that are keeping him off the court. Also, what AJ Storr is doing. The only guy that you could maybe get him in there for is Max Klesmit, but you cannot deny what Max Klesmit gives you on the defensive end if you are this Badger team. Max Klesmit is hands down one of the better defenders on this Badger team, so you almost sacrifice points for defense. You know, with Connor Essegian, you're going to get more of the offense versus the defensive end. So it's like, do you want to get in a run? You know, the Badgers are built for defense. That's the thing, is the Badgers are built for defense. So it's hard to fit a guy like Connor Essegian in there if he's not having success on the defensive end. So a little bit of news there out of what's going on with Connor Essegian right now. But with that, I want to look at some college football bowl games, because I was just, browsing around, looking at some of these games. First off, we're going to pick our winner. We have the biggest game of the year coming up on this Saturday. Army versus Navy. I'm going to take Army to win that ball game there against Navy.
I got to take Army just because our buddy Trayton goes to Army. Go Army, beat Navy.
Go Army, beat Navy. That's dang right. They looks like their quarterback is leading. He's the high. Looking at the stats, he's got 859 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions through the air. And on the ground, he's got 188 carries for 817 yards and 7 touchdowns. So Army's a one-man wrecking crew with my guy Daly here. He's going to do it all for this Army team. So I can't wait to watch him this Saturday.
All I'm saying is get ready for a run fest. Both teams, Army runs like a triple option. I'm pretty sure Navy does pretty much the same thing. And I'm pretty sure the last time they played, they had maybe 1 pass or 2 passes in the whole game. So get ready for a rushing game there out of Army-Navy game.
It should definitely be a interesting matchup. It always is when Army meets Navy there. Running is the name of the game, and that's all we care about. We know what we're going to get when we tune in. We're going to get a run fest. It's like watching the Badgers, but on steroids. So with that, we're going to jump over. I just want to look at some of these bowl games. So I'm just looking through the bowl games here. We have, I just want to go through some of the cooler ones here. Miami of Ohio and Appalachian State will play in the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. The Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. That's an impressive name for a bowl game there. What do you got? What do you got? Look, you must have the bowl games up over there. What do you got?
What games do I think are going to be interesting? Is that what you're asking me here?
Looking for interesting names for bowl games, going back and forth here. So I got Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. What do you got?
That is a good one.
That is a good one. I know.
I like the Avocados from Mexico. I like that commercial. You ever see that?
I hope they play that one during that game.
I like let me see here. I always love the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That's always a classic. I always like that one. The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
You want a classic? I'll give you Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl between UTSA and Marshall. That's a classic.
How about Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, huh? Tony the Tiger?
That's got to be cool. Can you imagine the trophy? Can you imagine the trophy for that? Just a giant tiger. That'd be cool. Next up, we got the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. Roofclaim.com between South Florida and Syracuse.
Yeah. These names are getting kind of outrageous. I mean, it's a bowl game and then it has like a sponsor with it. you'll see like the Capital One All-State Sugar Bowl. Like, come on, just keep it or it's the All-State Sugar Bowl. Just keep it the Sugar Bowl. Keep it classy. Even the Rose Bowl is getting some sponsors now these days. And I'm like, it's not even the Rose Bowl anymore. It's the what's the one? Oh, the GoDaddy.com Bowl. That's always a class. I don't even know if that one's on here anymore. Probably got. I'm looking at
SMU Boston College squaring off in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Wasabi.
You ever see the pistachio ice cream, the Toe Mater? This isn't pistachio ice cream. That's always a classic. Love that one.
Shoot.
See,
Wasabi.
I was looking at the wrong one. The Cricket Celebration Bowl. See, I was looking at the NCAA one, and that didn't have the sponsors next to the name, so it just gave like the actual bowl name. So I couldn't see all like the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Like what? Back in my day, it used to just be the Independence Bowl. Now you got to add Radiance Technologies. What is Famous Toastery Bowl? What's it? What are we doing? Toast? What is a Toastery? Huh? What is that?
Trans Perfect Music City Bowl. Come on now.
Union Home Mortgage Gasparillo Bowl. See, these are the ones I like.
That's
the
one.
Birmingham Bowl. Keep it simple.
The Birmingham, the 76 Birmingham Bowl, though. The 76 Birmingham Bowl. Can't forget.
Yep. What else is here? Easy Post Hawaii Bowl.
Easy Post Hawaii. See,
All right,
the Quick Lane Bowl. That's simple. That's straightforward. Minnesota got into a bowl game. Did you see that? Minnesota's in the Quick Lane Bowl game against Bowling Green.
Isn't the Quick Lane Bowl? That's kind of a decent bowl, too.
Well, the Badgers got into the ReliaQuest Bowl against LSU. I don't know how that happened either, so.
I can't wait for that pregame show, let me tell you.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. That will be
I don't know if Jaden Daniels is playing, but I hope not.
I really hope not for the Badgers' sake.
How about this one? Military Bowl presented by GoBowling.com.
That's what we end on. That's the one we end on right there. That's got to be it. The Military Bowl. That's the one. That is our ending right there. So, with that, though, we got to jump over. We haven't been able to do it in a while. We got to jump over to Austin with our fact of the day.
In 1940, on this day, the National Football League championship at Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C., the Chicago Bears beat Washington Redskins 73-0. This is the most one-sided victory in NFL history, and it was the first NFL title game broadcasted on national radio.
Interesting fact of the day right there. For some reason, our fact of the day tune does not want to play for us, and I can't figure out why. I cannot.
It's my one shiny moment. You can't even get the music to work, Trage. What's going on?
I know. It would have worked probably on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, but apparently it does not want to work on Friday. That's what I'm getting out of this.
So your music's just getting lazy on the weekends now, huh?
I'm getting it. It took its early day on Friday. That's what I'm getting out of this.
We gave it a break this whole week, and now it can't even work on Friday.
It doesn't want to work on Friday. That's what I'm getting out of this. It's like I'm taking the weekend off. I'm taking a 3-day. If Austin can take a 3-day week off, we're going to take the 3-day weekend, and we're going to run with it. That's what it's telling me. That's what it's telling me right now. I don't know.
Whatever.
So with that, we got to jump into a big weekend of college hoops, see what's going on in the world of college hoops here tonight. Not a whole lot going in the top 25 tonight here for college basketball. Let's see if I can get her to load in. Not a lot going on in the college basketball world. But Saturday there, we're going to have some top 25 teams in action. UConn's taking on Arkansas Pine Bluff. I think I'm going to take the Huskies winning that one. Number 5, UConn taking on 4 and 6 Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Hey, we like to talk about stinkers. Arkansas Pine Bluff is a stinker team, and UConn's really good. So that's not even a close one there.
They're a definite stinker. That is for darn sure. There.
Next, I do like their logo though.
I gotta say, yeah, it is. It is a cool logo. I'll give you that one. I will give you that one there. So next up, we have Pennsylvania taking on Kentucky. I think we're going to go with Kentucky.
Unless the Penn team can outsmart Kentucky, I don't think they're going to be able to outplay Kentucky. So I got to go the Wildcats on that.
I got a good feeling they can outsmart them. I agree. I got a good feeling about that one. Next up, our first top 25 matchup of the day, 11 a.m. on CBS. Number 20, Illinois, taking on number 17, Tennessee. I am going to take Illinois to pull off that upset against Tennessee.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but like I've done multiple times on this podcast, I'm going to go the opposite of you and take Tennessee just because Tennessee beat the Badgers, so they have to be Illinois. Right?
I feel you. I feel you there. Next up, we have Purdue taking on Alabama. I'm going to take Purdue to win that one.
Yeah, I don't think Zach Edey's kind of unstoppable right now. So I got to take Purdue also.
We're going to skip over Creighton Central Michigan because if we don't both pick Creighton, that's just going to be ridiculous.
I got to go Central Michigan.
Central Michigan? You're taking Central Michigan, huh?
Why not?
All right, fine. I'll lead you into this next one then because you're picking upsets. Number 22, Duke taking on Charlotte. Here we go.
Give me Charlotte. Oh, wait.
Charlotte.
Wait.
Charlotte.
No, I'm going Duke, as any sane person would.
Duke winning that one. Next up, we have Texas taking on Houston Christian. I am going to take number 12 Texas to bounce back after that loss to Marquette.
You know, what are some of these games that these teams are playing, man? What is Houston Christian? What is
I tried to
Arkansas Pine Bluff? Like, come on, bro.
I was skipping over it. You told me that you were picking upsets, so I had to go through them. I was just going to skip through them.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, Texas, obviously, but
Texas.
Houston Christian, like, come on.
Let's see if we can't find a couple good games mixed in here. Number 2, Kansas taking on 7-2 Missouri. That should be a decent ball game there. I'm going to take Kansas, but I think Missouri keeps it close.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing there. Kansas is really good, but watch out for Missouri to keep it close there, like you said.
And then we have a battle of the undefeateds. Number 24, Clemson taking on TCU. I'm going to take TCU to pull off the upset against Clemson there.
I'm going to go Clemson because you win TCU.
There we go. And then we have a couple of we got an undefeated team that we've been talking about in college football now in NCAA. James Madison sitting there at the 18 spot. They're taking on Old Dominion. We're going to take James Madison to move to 9-0.
I like their football team. I'm pretty sure they made a bowl game too, if I'm not mistaken there. Pretty sure they snuck into one. But I'm going JMU also on the basketball. Let's keep them undefeated. This is no FCS. This is no FBS. This is real deal basketball right here. And JMU is here to stay. And who knows? They might even make a national championship run with this JMU Dukes team. Come on.
There we go. I felt that one. Next up, we are looking at the college volleyball postseason. So we're gonna look at the bracket here. Pull that baby up. College volleyball tournament here. Let's see what we can't find here. The official bracket. Pull up that official bracket here. Looks like Nebraska will take on Arkansas. They both advanced. Wisconsin advanced last night also. And Louisville and Pittsburgh both advanced on their sides of the bracket there. The big one we want to cover, Wisconsin got the win over Penn State. They won that 3-1. Won the first set, 25-11. Lost the second set, 30-28. Then swept the last two, 25-12 and 25-18. But they had commanding leads in both. Impressive out of this Badger team. Did you watch any of it? Did you catch it? Did you catch that game?
I didn't. I saw it was on ESPN, but I did not catch any of it. But I do know the last time that the Badgers played Penn State, they did in fact lose to Penn State. So this was a good win for them, actually. It was a good rebound win for the Badgers here to continue on to in the championship rounds here, third round. So they're on to the fourth round then. What is that, quarterfinals maybe?
Getting closer. Like yes, I believe so. Getting closer and closer to that national championship, hoping to get back there once again. But with that, we just want to talk about a little bit. Game Day Supply in Onalaska, our proud sponsor of the show. They got everything you could need. They got skate sharpening. They have custom fielding gloves for baseball and softball. They have everything for your sports athlete and custom jerseys. I've been looking at those jerseys. I was just browsing through their website, looking at some of the custom jerseys that they've done. You got to check them out. Check them out for yourself. If you have a youth program or anything like that, you want to get some jerseys made up, contact them at Game Day Supply. Check out their Facebook page, Game Day Supply, or check them out online, GameDaySupply.net. You can call the store. You can stop in Onalaska. If you're in the area, stop in there, check them out. Great people to work with. They're all for sports, and they will help you get what you need, especially during this holiday season. I mean, we're getting closer and closer every day to that Christmas day. If you have that Christmas list, you still got to get something checked off on there. Definitely stop in at Game Day Supply. They have everything from sporting attire to fishing apparel. I mean, they have fishing gear there, fishing clothing there at Game Day Supply. So a little bit of everything there. They can help you find what you need at Game Day Supply. But with that, we got to jump over. We're going to move on here. We got to jump over to the Packers. I just want to talk, we're going to get into the Packers a little bit more here this weekend on Monday. We're going to get into the Packers there for that Monday night matchup with the Giants. But I just wanted to look at something that was interesting me, and that is we talked a lot of crap about Brian Gutekunst and what he was doing wrong, how he's struggling as a GM, and how we wanted to see this ownership get rid of him and find us somebody else to draft, take over the reins, everything like that. And he's onto something. He really is. These last couple draft classes, we haven't seen what Lucas Van Ness is going to end up as yet. But if we look back into, we'll go as far back as 2018. First round pick, Jair Alexander. You hit on Jair. That was a solid draft pick. Now, you go down the list, and this is where my struggle with Brian Gutekunst came. Second pick for the Packers that year, Josh Jackson, cornerback out of Iowa. Oren Burks, linebacker out of Vanderbilt in the third round there. Jamon Moore from Missouri. Cole Madison from Washington State, offensive lineman. J.K. Scott. We still had J.K. Scott for a while there out of Alabama, punter there in the fifth round. Then they got Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Equanimeous St. Brown. I can never say his name right. It bullshits it every time. But there we go. St. Brown from Notre Dame there. James Looney, defensive lineman from Cal. Hunter Bradley from Mississippi State. And Kendall Donerson from Missouri State, outside linebacker. So you look at that draft class. J.K. Scott and Jair Alexander. Those are really the only two in that draft class that stuck with the Packers. Valdez-Scantling for a little while, and St. Brown did better elsewhere. So, you look at that draft class, this is where we start to see, what our problem is with Brian Gutekunst was with that draft class there.
Well, J.K. Scott, he actually just got special teams player of the week for the Chargers somehow.
Yep.
And then Oren Burks, I know he's on some other team, but he's also playing well for what other team that he's on. I can't remember what team he's on, but Jair Alexander is kind of the one he's like the only one that's left on our team, honestly. Looking at that list, yep. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he put up numbers for the Packers while he was here, but it seemed like he just left us and went to Kansas City for them. But I just want to point that out that J.K. Scott, he got special teams player of the week this week. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and he wasn't a bad punter at all. I thought, it's one of those fifth round picks that kind of surprised you, but they needed a punter, so that's what they went out and got. 2019, this is the one. You got some guys on this one: Rashawn Gary, Darnell Savage, Elton Jenkins, and then Jay Sternberger. If Sternberger didn't get into trouble a little bit, I think Sternberger might have stuck a little bit better. Other than that, though, Kingsley Keke, Kadar Holman, Dexter Williams, Ty Summers all didn't really turn out for the Packers. So on the 2019, you had Gary, who everybody hated the pick at first, ended up being very good for the Packers. Darnell Savage, he's hit or miss. Depends on the day, depends on the week, depends who you ask with Darnell Savage. And Elton Jenkins, solid offensive lineman, but again, depends who you ask, depends on the week, and depends who you're what's going on with Packers. Looking at 2020, this is where we kind of get into the meat of things here. Jordan Love, A.J. Dillon, the tight end that is terrible, Josiah DeGuara. Just downright terrible. Terrible pick. Terrible on. I can't believe he's still on the roster. I don't know why he's still on the roster. And then fifth round, you had Kamal Martin, not really anything for you. John Runyon was in that draft there in the sixth round. Jake Hansen didn't really turn into anything. Simon Stepanek, not really anything. Vernon Scott and Jonathan Garvin. So that draft, John Runyon, Jordan Love, and A.J. Dillon. Bought all that stuck right there.
Yeah, I was just clicking on some of the names, and then when you click back, it takes you all the way down to the bottom to when they had the first draft for some reason. So I was kind of shuffling through stuff. But Rashawn Gary's really starting to play like we wanted him to. I remember, going into Michigan, he was the highest graded player in grading high school players ever. Went to Michigan, and then he kind of just fell to us at pick 12, and he really developed as a Packer. In his career, he has 31 and a half sacks. That's huge. Darnell Savage. Oh, wait. I'm looking at the wrong class, aren't I? My bad.
No, you're on the right one. Well, we did move on to 2020. We did get to 2020. But
That's my bad.
You're okay with what you're –
And then Elton Jenkins – I'll just stick at 2019 right now. Elton Jenkins, he was also a huge pickup. He was – AP rookie. He was on the AP all-rookie team or whatever you want to call it. He can play every position on the O-line, which is kind of rare at the NFL level. He's played left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. That's huge for us. And then just going to the 2020 class, Jordan Love obviously there. We thought it was a reach. We were surprised.
The book isn't closed. The book isn't closed on that one.
Yeah.
We got to see it. We got to see it progress.
All I'm saying is J-Lo cooking right now, and that's all I care about.
Now. I'll give you that. He's cooking right now.
A.J. Dillon, that was kind of I didn't really know too much about the guy besides that he had huge quads. Right now, that's not that bad of a pickup in the second round for them. He's a good number 2 back, I'd say. He's good at getting the first down when it's second and short, third and short, second and short. And I think right now he's doing good for the Packers with Aaron Jones being out for them. And then after that, Josiah DeGuara, you kind of said, not the best. I was kind of shocked that we picked him instead of a wide receiver or something at the time. I was like, I even have a video saved. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Josiah DeGuara. I have a video saved in my camera roll. I remember that. John Runyon, though, I'm pretty sure he's starting or rotating for us right now. So that's a good pickup for us, especially in the 6th round. And then after that, I don't really know a whole lot of these other guys that got drafted that round or that year.
After that, 2021, we got Eric Stokes. The book is still open on him. He had a good first year. We don't really know anything after that. He's been injured. Josh Myers is on there. Amari Rogers never really progressed into anything. TJ Slayton, defensive lineman there. Cole Van Lannon from Wisconsin, we were hoping, didn't really do anything there. And Isaiah McDuffie was in that draft in 2021. And McDuffie's kind of developed there for the Packers at the linebacker spot. So I would say that 6th round pick there of Isaiah McDuffie, that one was one of the best picks I've seen, late in the draft that he's had so far looking at these draft classes.
Yeah, kind of a steal for them there, especially with our linebackers going down now, or being injured. And like you said, McDuffie has been able to develop as a linebacker for us. And at the 6th round spot, that's a good draft pick by Brian Gutekunst. I mean, I don't really know how you'd be able to find a guy that late that's able to now start for you in some games here with injuries. I say that's one of the better picks that he's had so far. Mari Rogers, like you said, not a good pick. He was not able. I mean, at the time, you're like, okay, this guy's coming from a Clemson national championship team. He's his father, or I'm pretty sure his father was good friends with Randall Cobb, and Randall Cobb was on the team at the time. So you're like, oh, maybe Randall Cobb can teach me some things. Well, that wasn't the case, and we tried putting him at returner, and he just fumbled all the time. So that was kind of a stinker pick. Slayton's playing some good football for the Packers, I know, and then Eric Stokes kind of up in the clouds right now. Don't really know what's going on with him. He needs to get back from his injury so he can play to his full potential. But
And then next up, 2022, we have Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt, 2 good first-round picks. I think both them guys still developing. Christian Watson, the book is still open on Christian Watson. We don't know what we really have. At times he shines, and at other times it's like, why did we draft him in the 2nd round? Sean Ryan in there too. Romeo Doubs, 4th-round pick. Romeo Doubs, I think, has developed into what should have been maybe a 2nd-round pick. Romeo Doubs has got some great hands, great skill out there at the wide receiver position. Zach Tom also in there. Samori Torre, that's the big one in there. Other than that, I mean, before I get to Torre, we had Kingsley Engelbert, Tariq Carpenter, Jonathan Ford, Rasheed Walker's in there too in that 7th round. But Samori Torre with the 258th pick, Samori Torre is a solid number 3, number 4 receiver. I really do think. And to get him there in the 7th round, that's kind of baffling because what I've seen out of Samori Torre is if a guy goes down, I'm not worried, with this Packers wide receiver room because you have guys like Malik Heath and Samori Torre to back it up.
yeah, and I'm also looking Rasheed Walker, 7th round. He started in 10 games this year, and he's played in 12 out of the 13 or something. Kind of an underrated guy, I'd say. I mean, obviously you'd rather have like David Bakhtiari there, but for having to fill in and get in rotation time and starting some of the games, especially with the O-line, I mean, especially now down the stretch, he's been playing some pretty good football for being a 7th-round pick, 2nd-year player. Props to him. Same with Zach Tom. I mean, Zach Tom's been in the rotation for them there. And then I don't really know about Sean Ryan. I don't really know if he's been in a whole lot of games there. If I click on his name, he's been in 7 games in 2023, 8 in his career. So he's been in there a little bit this year. But besides that, Christian Watson, like you said, kind of still up in the air. Devontae Wyatt, he's been playing. I know he's played pretty good football when he's healthy. Quay Walker, obviously, tackling machine for us there. But kind of guys that we snuck out of this round, obviously Romeo Doubs, how he's been playing, especially as a 4th-rounder. But I'd have to point out Rasheed Walker, especially as an O-line guy, and seeing him, I mean, kind of, it's like, who's this guy? I mean, when I was looking at the offensive line, I was like, I don't even know half these guys. I know Ellen Jenkins and Josh Myers, and then maybe John Runyon. That's about it. And then I see Rasheed Walker out there. I'm like, who is this stinker guy out there? And now he's been playing some pretty good football. So that was a good pick for them, especially in the 7th round.
Definitely. And then I think this 2023 draft class is one of the most it's really impressive because when you look at the grand scheme of things, Lucas Van Ness still up in the air, hasn't got a lot of playing time at times here, having guys like Rashawn Gary and also Preston Smith controlling the ends there. But Luke Musgrave there in the 2nd round, he's been impressive. Jaden Reed in the 2nd round there also. And then Tucker Kraft, I thought has really developed better. He played well with the absence of Luke Musgrave. And then having Dontavian Wicks in that 5th round there, that's a huge pickup because Dontavian Wicks is an underrated receiver for this Packers team. Anders Carlson, we don't really no 100% yet, but he's had some solid outings here for the Packers. And then looking down here, Carrington Valentine in that 7th round. Carrington Valentine has played some big downs for the Packers this year, especially with the injuries there in the cornerback room. So, this draft class has got some pretty good talent in it, and the book is still open on a lot of it right now. So I am really, when you look at the grand scheme of things, Brian Gutekunst has hit on a fair amount. You're not going to hit on everybody. That's the big thing. You're never going to hit all your draft picks. You're never going to be perfect. But what I got to say is, since about 2020, I would say about 2020, because that 2019 draft class, besides Jair Alexander, or 2018, with Jair Alexander in there, besides Jair, that class is kind of just kind of gone. But other than that, 2019 wasn't terrible. 2020 wasn't bad so far. So he's hit on some, he's missed on some, but I got to say, at the end of the day, he's picked up some good pieces for this Packers team.
Yeah, and also a guy that you skipped over, Carl Brooks out of Bowling Green. He has 3 sacks this year.
Brooks.
I think he got injured. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. But for a guy out of Bowling Green, 6th-round pick, and going in there getting 3 sacks, he has more than Lucas Van Ness. Lucas Van Ness only has 2 sacks, one against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. That was kind of a big one and made him kick a field goal. So Carl Brooks was a good pick. Just looking at this, I was scrolling down even farther. I'm like, who has the Packers drafted that are even still on the team that I can remember? In 2013, we got David Bakhtiari, and I don't even know if you consider him still on the team because the man's injured for the whole year. But, besides that, a lot of our guys are, Jair Alexander in 2018 and up that the Packers have drafted. A lot of guys haven't really stayed on the Packers that are kind of past that 2018 year, it seems like. So it just goes to show that we are a young team. Preston Smith is a little bit older. Obviously, he wasn't drafted with the Packers. Some guys we brought in, obviously, but the guys that we have drafted, it's a very young team that the Packers got here. And a lot of these guys are doing really good for being 2nd year, 3rd year, 1st year players.
Yeah, definitely. And, some of the trades he's made. Clint Dix traded him away. Defense got better. Rasul Douglas, we thought that was going to ruin the defense. The defense is looking better. So it's like maybe he knows something we don't know that's going to help this team. But with that, just some injury updates. Christian Watson did not practice there in the first day of practice for the Packers, but Aaron Jones was back at practice. So you lose a guy and you gain a guy. That seems what the Packers, the chemistry for the Packers right now, all season long. It really makes you wonder with this medical staff for the Packers because Jair practiced all last week, and then all of a sudden on Sunday, he just wasn't able to go. So it kind of makes you wonder if Jair's feeling better, but the medical staff's like, no. We're going to keep you out even longer. So you just wonder what's going on behind the scenes there with the medical staff for the Packers. But with that, let's jump over. We got to keep NFL. We're going to jump over to the NFL slate for Sunday. First up, Buccaneers, Falcons. I'm going to take the Falcons to win that game at home.
I'm going to go Buccaneers.
Next up, Lions and Bears. I'm going to take the Lions to win that game at Soldier Field. Though the Bears' run defense, surprisingly impressive. They're top of the league in run defense. So kind of surprising. Their Bears' defense is getting better. Their offense still stinks. They're a bunch of stinkers on the offense. But the Lions, I think, will win that one.
I'm pretty sure, did these two teams just play recently and it was pretty close, but I think I'm going to go the Lions. What?
Bears played the Lions right before the Packers did.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving.
I got to go with the Lions. I think they're going to play better than this time than they did last time, so I like the Lions.
Next up, Colts and Bengals. I liked what I saw of the Bengals there against the Jaguars. I'm going to take the Bengals to win that game at home against the Colts.
I'm taking the Colts just because I like the Colts. Shout out Pat McAfee.
You got to like what Gardner Minshew is doing with them right now. Next up, Jaguars and Browns. Going to be heavily reliant on if Trevor Lawrence is good to go. High ankle sprain, not really sure what's going on right now. He was seen at practice already. He's back on the practice field, so who knows? I'm gonna take the Browns to pull off an upset here at home.
Let me tell you, this game had potential to be really good, a really good game, especially two teams that have kind of not been very good the past decade, I should say, or I could say. And of course, when they play, Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be out. I mean, he's practicing, but let's be honest, high ankle sprain, especially for a quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be able to play through that. And then Deshaun Watson's hurt, so that kind of sucks. I think I'm going to go Browns on this one. I think their defense is still pretty solid, and then if the Jaguars have a backup QB in there, I think he might get a little flustered. So I think I'm going to go Browns with this one.
There we go. Next up, we got the Saints and the Panthers. I'm going to take the Saints to win that one.
Yeah, I don't know if the Panthers are going to win another game this year. I'm going to take the Saints.
Next up, Texans and Jets. I'm going to take the Texans to bounce back there after that loss, or that win last week, the loss to the Jaguars 2 weeks ago. I'm going to take the Texans here to beat the Jets.
Yeah, I like the Texans. Who knows when Aaron Rodgers is going to be back, but if the Jets can steal one here and Aaron Rodgers comes back, I mean, they might be able to fight for a playoff race there. Not entirely sure, but I think the Texans are going to be able to take the job on this one.
Next up, Ravens and Rams. That one will be in Baltimore. I'm going to take the Ravens to win that game at home.
Yeah, I like the Ravens in this matchup.
And then next up here, we have the Raiders and the Vikings. I'm going to take the Vikings to win that game on the road in Las Vegas.
I'm going to go Raiders. They got that new coach. I'm pretty sure Devontae Adams is coming back. Jamar Jefferson might be coming back, though. Pretty sure. But I like the Raiders. I like the Raiders in this one. I don't know if Josh Dobbs is going to be able to play up to his potential that he's been playing before, so I like the Raiders.
Next up, we have the 49ers and the Seahawks. I'm going to take the 49ers to win that game at home.
Yeah, especially after that performance last week. They kind of knocked the socks off of the Philadelphia Eagles over there. So I'm going to go 49ers.
Next up, we got the Chiefs and the Bills. I'm going to take the Chiefs to win that game at home.
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to come back after the loss against the Packers. I think the Chiefs are going to be better this go around here against the Bills.
Next up, we have the Broncos and the Chargers. I'm going to take I'm going to take the Broncos. Broncos to win that one. Chargers are a mess.
Yeah, I was going to go Broncos. But like I've done many times, got to go Chargers now because I had in my mind I'm going to go Broncos. And then you were like, I'm going to take the and I was like, yes, I'll be able to take the Broncos. Well, now I guess I'm going with the Chargers. And hopefully Austin Eckler carries.
He's taking a loss in that one just for that. Next up, we have the Eagles and the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win that game at home against the Eagles.
Last time these two teams played, it was very close, and it was a couple plays kind of defined the game. Cowboys probably should have won that game, but they didn't. I think the Eagles are going to be able to still beat them out, especially after that humiliating loss against the 49ers. I think the Eagles are going to come out firing and beat the Cowboys.
Next up, there's two Monday night games. We're only going to talk about the one because the Packers we'll talk about on Monday. We have the Titans and the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins to beat the Titans there.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill's kind of going crazy out there right now, and Tua is just slinging the ball. So I like the Dolphins against the Titans. Titans have Will Levis, I'm pretty sure, still playing. He's not looking terrible, but not looking great. I don't think he's going to be able to beat this Dolphins team. This Dolphins team's playing, really good football.
So there we go. There's our picks for this week. Next up, we are going to do our fantasy picks for the weekend. So how do we want to do this?
I don't know.
Who do we want to pick? Who picks first?
Well, I can pick. I'll pick first.
Oh, you'll pick
Why not?
First. Okay.
I'm looking at a website here because I'm not very good at fantasy myself, so I'm gonna trust other people.
There he goes.
Let me tell you. Okay, I'm in 3 leagues, and I'm not gonna make the playoffs for either of them. So if you're listening to this podcast, don't listen to me because I suck at fantasy football. So I'm going to read off on a
learning.
website.
He's reading off. Listen to him. He's reading off from the internet.
Hold on. All right. One person I do like, I almost picked off of the waiver wire, but I didn't get him. Zach Moss for the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor's still out with that thumb injury, so Zach Moss is kind of filling in for him. I know Jonathan Taylor was out earlier this year, and Zach Moss was getting a lot of carries, and now it seems like he's kind of back. For running back wise, I like Zach Moss. If you have him, I would start him.
There we go. So Austin's taking Zach Moss with his first pick there at running back. I'm going to take a quarterback to start mine off. I'm going to take Tua against the Titans defense.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Let's see here. Let's see who else we got. I might go with another running back here because running backs are valuable.
He's going with his flex position. He's filling in the flex right away.
CMC. Give me Christian McCaffrey. This man averaged a touchdown per game. I have him on my team, and he's the star of my show. I got to go CMC. Especially, who are they? I can't remember who they're playing, but the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, he's at least averaging probably 2 or 3 touchdowns this game. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Definitely not reading off of a website. I gotta go Christian McCaffrey.
I am going to take. Give me. Let's see. I'm going to go with from the Lions. I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Lions against the. I don't know if I want to do that. Shoot. That's rough on me. Give me Tyreek Hill. I took Tua. If Tua is going to have a good game, that means Tyreek Hill is going to have a good game. Give me Tyreek Hill.
That's a good pick. What do I need? A quarterback now?
You got a quarterback left, you have a wide receiver left, and you have your defense left.
All right. Let me think here. Quarterback. I gotta get a quarterback here. I'm thinking Jake Browning played pretty good football against Jaguars last week, but that'd be stupid if I picked him. He is tempting though, just because he's an underdog. Jordan Love though. J Love against the New York Giants. Come on, baby. Give me that love, baby.
I did think about it. I'll be honest with you. I did think about it. Let's see. I got running back spot left to fill here. I am going to take who's got a terrible run defense? Who has got a terrible run defense out there somewhere? Somebody's got a terrible run defense. Let's see. You took Christian McCaffrey, so I can't take him anymore. I should have taken him when I had the chance there. Let's take Isaiah Pacheco against the Bills defense.
That's a solid pick.
So you got wide receiver and defense left. I have my flex position and my defense left.
All right. I got my wide receiver. Give me CeeDee Lamb.
I was just looking at CeeDee Lamb. I was going to take him in my flex.
Come on, baby.
CeeDee Lamb. He's taking him from me. I was just staring at him. I was like, I got to take CeeDee. He's going to be that guy. That's just a killer for me. Let's see. Give me the Rams don't have much else. Give me Nacua from the Rams. Give me Paku Nacua.
That's a good pick.
So we both got our defenses left.
I'm just scrolling through fantasy right now, seeing who has the best defense. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, I'm not very good at this whole fantasy thing. I'm looking at the Packers defense. Packers play against the Giants, and they're playing against who? Tommy DeVito? Like, come on. Who is that dude? Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. But 49ers defense, Cowboys defense. Cowboys playing against the Eagles, though. I don't know about that one, Chief. 49ers against Seattle. They're looking good. Do I trust my own team? Miami's defense has been playing good. Let me see here. Let me take Miami's defense. I don't have a Miami team. I don't have a Miami player, so I'll take Miami's defense. They've been playing well for me, so I'm going to take Miami.
Miami's defense. I'm going to take the Browns defense against the Jaguars. A not healthy Trevor Lawrence, if he plays, going up against a Browns defense that's been pretty stout all season long. Browns. I'll take the Browns defense.
All right. So here's what we have to do. We regroup, come back on that Monday, read off the scores, and see who wins.
Yep, that's what we do. We're going to keep – I kept track. I wrote them all down here. I have Tua, Isaiah Pacheco, Tyreek Hill, Puka Nacua, and the Browns defense. You have Jordan Love, Zach Moss, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, and Miami's defense.
Okay, low-key, that Zach Moss pick was kind of stupid. I didn't know exactly what we were doing, but I got to trust him now. I got to go with my boy Zach Moss.
I'll let you, if you want, you can attempt a switch out.
One switch out?
One. You get one switch out.
All right.
But you got to do it right now.
I'm going to go DeAndre Swift instead.
DeAndre Swift. He's taking DeAndre Swift to pull it off, huh?
I don't know if that was smart or not, low-key. But too late now.
Going up against that Cowboys defense, that solid front with Micah Parsons there from the Cowboys.
Don't make me feel bad about taking DeAndre Swift, man, all right?
It's a solid pick. We will find out.
I should have taken Alvin Kamara.
You should have, but it's too late. You only get one.
Yeah, all right. I'll stick to my guns.
Solid pick. But we will find out on Monday who is the winner of fantasy for our first week there. But with that, it has been awesome talking with you guys. We covered it all. We covered a full weekend preview for you guys here on the show. It's been awesome chatting. Until Monday, when you catch you guys back here, we hope you have a great weekend. We hope you have a fantastic weekend. But until we catch you next time on Monday, deuces.